Hello, everyone. So last night, She-Hulk episode 1 dropped on Disney Plus, and I saw the reviews on YouTube popping up, and I didn't see very many positive ones in the circles that I follow. Uh, but I heard Chris Gore yesterday giving his review of the first 4 episodes, and he said it was actually pretty good. It was not as divisive as the trailers had suggested. He had seen the first 4 episodes, and he said that the first episode was the weakest of the 4. So I figured I would give it a chance. I figured I would give it a shot. So this morning, before I watched any reviews, I sat down and I watched She-Hulk #1 for myself. Okay, quick background. I was there in 1980 when She-Hulk #1 launched. In fact, I've got all 25 issues of the original run. I have the first issue here, like a bunch of them too, of John Byrne's run. Like there it is. Read my book this time, or I'll tear up all your X-Men issues, which is funny because John Byrne was a prolific X-Men artist for many years. So I knew that there were going to be some changes. She-Hulk #1. Bruce Banner rolls into town to see his cousin. He just needs like a friendly face. He explains to her about how he transformed into the Hulk, saving Rick Jones from the gamma bomb. And she catches him up to speed about this. She's a lawyer, a very successful lawyer in Los Angeles. Um, and she's working this case against a mob, and look, they shoot her. They try and kill her. He sprays them in the face with a garden hose and escapes with her and breaks into a doctor's office where he gives her a blood transfusion, where he's given an entire pint, at least, of gamma irradiated blood, which of course, when the mob comes back to finish her off, she transforms into She-Hulk for the first time and beats the crap out of them. Okay. So I knew that there was going to be some changes to the story, and I knew that the origin was different. Of course, like we have Jennifer Walters save Bruce Banner this time. Now, I thought there was going to be a contradiction because in the Avengers film, Bruce Banner says that at one point he tried to harm himself, and he immediately transformed into the green Goliath here and spit the piece of lead out of his mouth. How it got there is, to be determined by your imagination. So, in this one, he's wearing this special device that prevents him from transforming into the Hulk, which allows him to be injured, and his blood gets into a drop of his blood gets into her bloodstream, and he immediately transforms her into She-Hulk. So yeah, that was kind of dumb to me to make that change. Anyway, so she goes into this lady's room and looks all disheveled, and it immediately is helped by these 4 women that see her in there. Oh, girl, we're going to help you. We're going to fix you all up and stuff like that. Yeah, because that's what happens. Because women aren't judgmental and towards each other or anything like that. Okay, so she comes out, and then she's waiting for her cousin Bruce to come and pick her up. And these 3 guys come out. Hey, baby, you need some help there? I'm fine. No, come on, let me help you. Let me, They don't take no for an answer. She transforms into She-Hulk and is about to smash them. Not that kind of smash, the violent kind of smash. She gets tackled by Hulk, and she wakes up on this tropical island in Mexico, where Bruce is trying to teach her how to be a Hulk. And she, the trailers were a little deceptive that, she's not stronger than he is. definitely demonstrates that he is more powerful than she is. But like she automatically has her full faculties as the She-Hulk, whereas in the original version of the Hulk, he was basically a virtually mindless monster. And she's automatically better at everything with, she can hold her balance better. She has more control over her transformations. She can maintain her intellect. And what took him 15 years to accomplish, she's just automatically got. It's not terrible up to that point outside of the couple things that I mentioned, but there's one scene that really just, it completely blew it for me. There's a scene where he explains to her she has to learn how to control her anger, at which time she just says, yeah, control my anger. Like, I'm a woman. I have to control my anger when I get catcalled or when I get my job explained to me by my less competent male coworkers. Or else I'm looked at as being overly emotional and whatever. Yeah, like men don't have to do that. Like men don't have to deal with those same kinds of things. Imagine that you're as a boy. Boys, if you're raised by competent parents, you're taught that you need to keep yourself under control because you can do a lot of damage if you don't. You can harm people, and that's not tolerated. And there are consequences to such things. Usually physical consequences. Even if you're unsupervised and you're on a playground full of other boys, you learn very quickly that if you open your mouth the wrong way, someone will be more than happy to shut it for you. Whereas in the most cases, if a woman says something to a man, chances are she's not going to get punched in the mouth for it, but a man probably will. So yeah, we have to learn how to control our anger. In fact, I would say that men have to control their tempers more because you have power. Imagine, in my case, I started lifting weights when I was 16 years old and have been studying martial arts since 1985. And you have the capability when someone says something obnoxious to you, you get some sniveling weasel at work, some coworker who stabs you in the back and does all these, sneaky, underhanded things. And you know that you can turn around and you could just freaking level them with one shot. That's all it would take. They'd lay there spitting out some teeth when they wake up, but you can't. You have to restrain yourself. You have to bite your tongue, control your anger, and not give into it. This idea that men can just lose their temper and everybody's fine with it, no, it doesn't happen that way. Because then you get labeled as that guy who can't control themselves. You don't get promoted. You don't get, chances are you get fired. You have to deal with customers coming up to you, telling you how incompetent you are at your job because, you don't have something that they wanted, or that they're just having a bad day and you have to sit there and tolerate it. Or you see them berating, the girl at the customer service desk, and every instinct in you wants to stand up for that girl and tell this person what, but you can't because you have to control your anger. But here we are putting up this whole thing about women have it so much worse than men. Each sex has within itself their own challenges and their own specific problems that come along with it. They're different, but you can't say the one's better or worse than the other. And this is what current Marvel's doing. I had such high hopes for this after I heard that review yesterday, that I would be able to enjoy this, that I would be able to, Chris Gore said that she's the most likable female Marvel character since Black Widow. I didn't find that. I didn't find her particularly endearing. He said that the first episode is the weakest of the four, so I'm going to give the next couple a chance and see if it changes for me. But the messaging there of like that, you basically told me you don't want me as a customer, Marvel. You basically told me your opinion of what you think men are, despite the fact that the vast majority of men um, don't behave that way, because like it's, masculinity is not toxic. You know, you have some members of the male um, di- demographic that act like imbeciles and jerks. Most men have little tolerance for them as well. Um, but you have that with women too. There's a lot of women out there that are abusive and obnoxious, and I would say that like if as we just saw in a certain high-profile case, that women can be just as abusive as men. Um, in many cases, physically abusive, but men usually just tolerate it. It's not really hurting me. I just kind of like, brush it off and like I've been physically attacked in relationships, but wasn't a threat to me, so I didn't do anything. I've never, ever, ever hit a woman. And I've been pushed. I've had all those buttons pushed. I've never, ever hit a woman. I've been hit by women. I've never retaliated or responded. And most men are like that. And here comes She-Hulk. Like, ooh, look at these terrible, awful men, and women are better. Yeah, okay. I cannot give She-Hulk Episode 1 a positive review. I didn't find the jokes particularly funny. I didn't find the writing particularly engaging. I didn't find the plot particularly engrossing. It was sort of what was to be expected. I'm really hoping that the second episode is better, but as of right now, I made an exception because like I've been pretty checked out of the MCU. I've watched every movie since up until Endgame. I watched Black Widow. I've not watched Shang-Chi. I haven't watched The Eternals. I haven't watched Doctor Doom and the Multiverse of Madness, or Doctor Strange, sorry. I had watched all the Netflix Marvel series. I had watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I even watched some of Cloak and Dagger. I watched the Gifted. I watched all of the X-Men movies, which, as a longtime X-Men fan, I wasn't like, I've watched everything that Marvel's put out probably since 1978 with the Incredible Hulk series to the Amazing Spider-Man series to the really crappy red-brown Captain America movies with the Matt Salinger Captain America film. I've watched the Roger Corman Fantastic Four. I've sat through pretty much everything that Marvel's put up. I've purchased hundreds and hundreds of dollars of Marvel products over the years. And now I just don't care. You told me that you don't want me as a customer. Like, this wasn't made for you. Okay? I'll take my dollars. I'll go elsewhere, or I'll make my own stuff. If you liked She-Hulk, God bless you. I wish I could. I wish that I could have enjoyed it. I will watch the next couple episodes, but after this, I don't have high expectations. And whereas I tried to control my inherent low expectations of this, they just proved to me that I shouldn't. So yeah, you liked it, I'm glad that you enjoyed it. I couldn't. Hopefully it gets better, but as far as from what I'm seeing, uh, Marvel, the MCU, it's the Titanic, and you're just about at that scene where the last part of the ship's about to go under. Good luck.